A lioness crossed 50 kilometers of savanna and invaded an entire city. But it wasn't hunger that drove her, it was a mother's desperation. What would you do if the animal you saved years ago came back asking for your help? This is a true story that happened in Rustenburg, South Africa, in March 2023. And what you're about to hear will change the way you see the connection between humans and animals forever. The sun was scorching the streets of the small town. The hum of engines mixed with the acrid smell of gasoline. It was an ordinary Thursday, until absolute chaos. Deafening horns. Screams. Tires screeching on asphalt. In the middle of the main avenue, an impossible sight, a lioness. Yes, you heard that right. A lioness. Imposing, with her dusty fur gleaming under the African sun. But there was something strange. She wasn't roaring. She wasn't attacking. Her golden eyes seemed to carry a weight that no one could understand. "My God, where did this come from?" shouted a driver. Cell phones trembled in hands. Everyone was filming the impossible. Stop for a second and imagine, you're driving normally and suddenly, a wild beast appears in front of you. What would your reaction be? But this lioness, there was something different about her. It wasn't threat. It was urgency. Her thin body trembled. A low moan, almost a cry, escaped from her throat. As if she were begging. Among the panicked crowd, Elias Kruger emerged, a wildlife rescue agent. The sound of his boots echoed firmly on the hot asphalt. But his heart was beating erratically. He stopped 3 meters from her. The world fell silent. Those golden eyes. It can't be. The lioness stared at him intently. It was as if she was saying, "You. I came for you." 2 years earlier. Pilanesberg Nature Reserve. Elias was doing his usual patrol when he heard a roar of pain that cut through the soul. Following the sound, he found a scene that would mark him forever, a young lioness, caught in a cruel trap set by illegal hunters. The barbed wire cut deep into her hind paw. Blood everywhere. Those same golden eyes looked at him, but that day, they were full of fear and despair. Elias could have called for backup. He could have waited. But something in those eyes. He approached. Spoke softly, "Easy, girl. I'm going to help you." And he did the unthinkable, he cut the ropes with his bare hands, risking his life. The lioness remained motionless. Watching. As if she understood. When she was finally free, she didn't flee immediately. She stayed there, staring at Elias for long seconds. Then she slightly tilted her head, a gesture that Elias would swear was gratitude. Before disappearing into the savannah. Back to the present. Downtown Rustenburg. Panicked crowd. "It's you, isn't it?" Elias whispered. The lioness took a step forward. No threat. Her snout rose, sniffing. And then. A moan. Low. Almost a lament. "No! Wait," Elias shouted to the team arriving with tranquilizer guns. He knew deep in his soul that she wasn't there to attack. The lioness turned her head. She pointed to the road leading out of the city. She started walking. She looked back. The invitation was clear, "Come with me." Would you follow a wild lioness into the unknown? The sun was beginning to set. The sky tinged with blood orange. Elias's jeep followed the lioness along a dirt road. She trotted ahead, each step loaded with urgency. 20 kilometers. 30 kilometers. 35 kilometers. Where was she going? The lioness turned onto a narrow trail, almost invisible between the dry bushes. Elias turned off the engine. The silence was deafening. The rescue team followed him, all mute. As if they feared breaking some ancient spell. That's when the lioness stopped. In front of a deep hole. Covered by broken branches. The lioness let out a sound that made all of Elias's hair stand on end. It was a mother's cry. Elias approached the edge and saw Down there, maybe 5 meters below, a cub. Small. Fur tangled with mud. A paw twisted at an unnatural angle. The little one moaned weakly. Very weakly. It was dying. The lioness looked at Elias. Those golden eyes now shone with something unmistakable, absolute trust. "I know you can save him," those eyes said. The hole was a death trap. Narrow. Loose earth that could collapse at any second. "Let's sedate the lioness first," someone from the team suggested. Elias raised his hand. "No. She trusts me. I'm going." Rope tied around his waist. Flashlight on his head. Every movement calculated. The descent seemed to last an eternity. Earth falling. The rope creaking under his weight. At the bottom, the smell of damp roots and moss. And there, the cub. Eyes opaque with exhaustion. "Easy, little one," Elias whispered. "I'm going to get you out of here." He wrapped the cub with infinite care. The little body was cold. Very cold. The climb was a nightmare. The earth giving way. The rope stretched to its limit. Every second a battle. Against time. When Elias emerged with the cub in his arms. Absolute silence. The lioness was 3 meters away. Motionless. Eyes fixed on her baby. Everyone held their breath. This was the most dangerous moment. Maternal instinct could turn her into a killer beast. But then, the lioness slowly tilted her head. A deep bow. It was a gesture of gratitude so pure that it seemed sacred. Rustenburg Wildlife Rehabilitation Center. 2 a.m. Under an improvised tent, the veterinary team fought to save the cub. The lioness? Lying 5 meters away. Watching every movement. Silent guardian. "No sedatives," said Dr. Clara van der Merwe, chief veterinarian. "He's too weak." Antibiotics. 4 fluids. Bandages on the broken paw. Every procedure done under the watchful gaze of those golden eyes. The cub moaned. The lioness responded with a low rumble. Not of threat. Of encouragement. "She's talking to him," Clara murmured, moved. "She's telling him to be strong." Dawn. First ray of sun touching the savannah. A sound cut through the silence, a weak meow coming from the tent. The cub was awake. Trying to get up. The lioness jumped to her feet. Ears erect. A cry of joy escaped from her throat. "Open the gate," Elias ordered, his voice choked. The cub, wobbly but determined, took his first steps. The lioness ran to him. The reunion. There are no words. She licked him all over. Sniffed every inch. Lay down and pulled him to her. Mother and son. United again. Even the most experienced veterinarians had to hide their tears. 3 days later. The cub was strong enough. It was time. The team opened the gates leading back to the nature reserve. The lioness stood up. Majestic. She looked directly at Elias. For 5 whole seconds, they stared at each other. 1,000 unspoken words passed between them. Then she let out a roar. Not of threat. Of gratitude. She guided the cub out. The little one ran after her, stumbling slightly but full of life. Before disappearing among the trees, the lioness stopped. She turned one last time. And tilted her head. The same gesture. The same reverence. Then she vanished into the golden savannah, carrying her most precious treasure. Elias stood there. Motionless. The African sun warming his tear-wet face. This true story teaches us something extraordinary. Animals remember. They feel gratitude. They trust. And when they need it most, they know exactly who to look for. A lioness traveled 50 kilometers. Invaded a city. Risked being killed. All for what? Because 2 years earlier, a man chose compassion instead of fear. Think about it. How many times do we ignore the opportunity to do good because it seems too risky? How many connections do we lose out of fear? This lioness, this desperate mother, shows us that every act of kindness creates ripples that come back when we need them most. If this story touched your heart like it touched mine, I need you to do 3 things. First, leave your like now. This helps other people find this incredible story. Second, subscribe and hit the bell. We have many more amazing true stories coming. Third, share in the comments, have you ever had an animal that changed your life? Have you ever witnessed an act of animal gratitude? We really want to know. And if you think this story was exciting, wait until you see what happened with the elephant that returned 15 years later to introduce his family to the man who saved him. The video is already appearing on your screen. Click now and get your tissues ready. Because as Elias said while watching his lioness friend disappear on the horizon, sometimes, it's a wild animal that reminds us what it really means to be human.